Yeah, I didn't change the theme. It's the exact same. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Chillporeal. And with me, it's been a long. It's been It's basically, to me, it's been the return of an old friend. To quote certain, what was his
Exactly.
name? Jake Skywalker, was that his name? That said that in the movie.
No, Master
Oh, Revenge.
Paul's what it is.
Called Revenge of the
Come here,
Jedi.
you.
How you
Yeah,
doing? I missed you, man. I mean, that's why I said, hey, I gotta do a Chillporeal with Master Paul again. So
I
from that.
understand, man, and I've absolutely missed you too. I've missed being on YouTube, streaming and such, and I'm trying I'm trying to figure out like again what sort of stuff I'm wanting to do long term so that I can stream more often. Like that's genuinely the reason I haven't been is because I just don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's the same here. Like I've been trying to basically branch out and talk. I want to talk to as many different people as I can. That way I can learn stuff and have a good and just have a good time. You know, give me a chance to have a good conversation, because that's what's really important. I love to be able to communicate. And if I have something I can teach another person, or if they have something they can teach me, through shared experiences. That's kind of what means to me the most. That's why I keep doing the Chillporeal. And because I saw you
I
on
gotcha.
a certain who I see in the chat, Pacific 414,
Yep, there he is.
on his new. I'll be honest, his Star Trek. I was watching the Star Trek stream that he did with you. I was watching his intro. I'm assuming he made that in AI. The theme was on point, in my opinion. I liked it. I liked that
Oh yeah.
intro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
So
whole
kudos
stream was
to.
amazing.
Yeah, and remember, like I think one of the earliest things we did was you were getting into original Star Trek,
Mhm.
and me being the weirdo Star Trek fan, original Star Trek fan, the TOS, well, okay, I like to think of myself as the TOS fan, even though that's probably not
Yeah.
true. There's even bigger fans out there, especially on X, than I am, but I don't know. I wanted to kind of get you have a conversation with a newer a viewer of it. So I
Yeah.
figure
I remember.
that's how our relationship got started. And plus, I mean, I met you through I think I met you through Echo Based Network, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Also to the viewers, sorry if the cat's being a little disturbing. She's being really needy tonight.
natural predator, the cat.
Yes.
So. So I just, yeah, I mean, I'm just curious. Like, have you been have you been following any of the new Star Wars? Have you watched the newest season of Andor?
Nope. I genuinely have not watched a single thing Star Wars since the end of Ahsoka.
Okay.
I Ahsoka I mean, I was already burned out by the time Ahsoka even started, and I was just kind of going through the motions. And I did genuinely enjoy like the first 4 episodes, but after the stuff with Anakin in that weird dimension, whatever the heck that was, the
The
show
world
just
between worlds
nosedived.
from Rebels. The
Yeah,
world between worlds. Yep. This is
yeah, the
all
show just
Dave Filoni
nosedived.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I actually liked the last season of Andor. A whole bunch of
Okay.
us actually thought it was actually pretty decent. I was complaining about season one, but Andor's the best Disney Star Wars, in my opinion.
That's
It's even better than Rogue One. Like
that's
now
what I
that now,
hear, and
go ahead.
I watched season 1 and liked it enough. It was a good show. It just didn't seem like good specifically Star Wars to me.
Yeah. So the season two was, well, it was originally supposed to be 5 seasons, and
Mhm.
each season covers a year, starting from like the five BBY all the way to uh, Rogue One, basically. Um,
Mhm.
so season one was basically a whole year. Season two was 4 years, so there were 4 arcs. So 3 episodes. There was 12 episodes. There were 3 episodes arc each, that covers each year leading into Rogue One. So I actually like the character of Andor quite a bit in season two. He grew on me, and now that I've seen all of Andor, I hate what they did with him in Rogue One, especially with especially the way Tony Gilroy chose to conclude the series and everything. I mean, if they had him make Rogue One again, but following Andor strictly, I might actually
Mhm.
like it, because one of the issues with Rogue One is, what happens at the end of Rogue One, right?
Mhm.
Andor
Yeah,
dies.
everyone dies.
Yeah. And what happens at the end of that show, at the end of Andor, knowing that he's going to die in Rogue One, did not settle well with me. So,
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
like, let's just say he had a chance to, I mean, he had a chance to walk away from it all.
Mhm.
And somebody close to him kind of kept him from doing that. And that
Gotcha.
didn't sit well with me. I know a lot of people disagree with me. I mean, a lot of people, this new series was praised to high hell, and I mean,
Mhm.
honestly, I agree. It was like watching a good show from the early 2010s. Maybe not quite the early
I gotcha.
HBO, but it was a well told story, well written. You had to actually, there was a lot of subtext in the dialogue. Things paid off, and yeah, it was just very fast paced, because it was like, I guess, like they crammed the whole season in like 3 episodes.
I gotcha. Oh boy. I
So
knew
I
this
I
guy
have
was
not
going to show up.
I haven't seen
I knew
Phil.
he was
I
going to show up.
Phil came for you. Phil, you should come. You should check out some more Chillporeals, by the way. I know, but yeah, man. So we
Hey,
got
Phil.
so Star Trek 5, huh? Yeah, directed by Mr. Shatner. By the way, speaking of
Mhm.
Mr. Shatner is writing another autobiography, but this time he's
Oh, fun.
including fans to talk about. He's including fans to letting fans tell their stories and make them part of his book. So I got
Okay.
I pre-ordered it, and I'm gonna submit something to him on how
Nice.
I got into Star Trek, and how Captain Kirk has been, I mean, even to this day, a massive role model in terms of, just being your own man, leading by example, leading in general, making goals, and being and holding the people under you accountable, which is something I wish they did
Yeah.
with current, or, well, they call it Star Trek, but I call it New Trek. And
Yeah. Speaking of that, I remember a little bit after the stream that I had with Mike, he was showing me a clip you might have seen of Will Shatner reviewing people's impersonations of him, and he was looking at the new Kirk's impersonation of him in that weird holodeck episode on Strange New Worlds, and was just ripping it to shreds.
oh yeah, that's a problem right there. There was no holodeck before the original series. I mean, the holodeck was,
Right.
if you want to follow the animated series canon or something, um, it was a prototype after that. So I don't know what logic they're doing, but there was no holodeck.
Yeah. Well, I had someone at work explain it to me as it's an alternate universe, as if
If only they'd admit
the
that.
Talos 4 stuff never happened, but I don't know that I believe that.
They made an episode. I was watching it. Strange New Worlds made an episode. Had 2 episodes. They brought back 2 TOS characters.
Mhm.
One of them is in my headline right now. I'm sure you recognize it. I'm just Squire Nerdporeal now. Squire Gothos, Trelane.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
they got a New Zealand actor to play Trelane.
Hmm.
That's a problem, because half the people on Strange New Worlds are in the original series, like Uhura and Spock and Nurse Chapel
Mhm.
and all of them. Heck, even Kirk played by there's another Kirk. I don't know if he's a regular, or if he's a side character, but there's another Kirk too. So there's 3 Kirks. There's Shatner, there's Chris Pine, and now there's, I forget the other guy's name. He was in, like, I forget what show was it, Vampire Diaries or something, whatever.
Probably.
But like, and heck, they brought in Scotty. They brought in a new actor who was too young, in my opinion, to play Scotty. Scotty James Doohan was in his 40s. He was in his mid to late 40s. Him and McCoy were like the elder crewmen. They were the elder senior officers. Right. Kirk and Spock were the younger of the senior officers. So they hired this young guy to play Scotty, who's younger than me. So I don't know. So they have all these actors, all these they're bringing back villains, and our original characters never encountered them before in the original series. So I don't know how they're not breaking continuity. I mean, people gave Enterprise a lot of shit for breaking continuity, but even that show at least tried to maintain the Romulan continuity, where they never saw where humans never saw Romulans, especially in
same
the
with explaining why the Klingons. Same with explaining why the Klingons in TOS didn't have the head ridges.
Yeah, there was a two-parter for that. Yeah, so it's just crazy. It's just crazy, like what they keep, and this is why I mean, there are people that watch it, there are people that like it, and it is an improvement over Discovery, because at least they're somewhat trying to make it resemble Star Trek. But it's watching the first few episodes of season 1, I was just like, okay, no, this show is not going to measure up to what I expect from a Star Trek series. So before we even go further, I want to say hello to, so we already said hello to Phil McCracken. We got Roman of the Empire. You and I need to do a Chillporeal. We've been trying and failing, but that's gonna be over soon. So Pacific and my buddy Staple Bow, another Wheel of Time fan just like me. So
nice.
So
fun story. I have only been keeping up with Wheel of Time by your headlines, and I pretty much know everything I need to know through that has become yet another dumpster fire.
Yeah, that series got canceled. So me, Prophet of the Dragon, the White Cloaks, and a few others, we were celebrating it. But the tragedy is, like, now I've complained about the books. The books are extremely long-winded. There's some really good stuff in them, but a lot of the chapters are not the best. And I ended up falling asleep half the time, because there's just not nearly as much stuff in these chapters that you think there is, despite having really thick books. There's a lot of descriptions and a lot of names of a lot of characters you don't know and don't care about, and you're like, who is this again? Who is that again? Oh, I don't care. And that's kind of some of my issue with some of the later books. The early books were really good. I really enjoyed the first 3. And it really rose my expectations. But then when I got to book 4 was still good in its own way, but it wasn't good from start to finish. There were chapters I just couldn't stand. And the girl characters, which he has to write, that he has to include every novel, were just becoming more and more insufferable. So, and what's funny is the male characters are 3 heroes. There are some books where they don't appear at all. So the girl characters make it appear more than they do, and they're the main characters. The male characters are the main characters. So yeah, it's a nitpick. So I'm on book 9 out of 14 right now. So
wow.
So the original author only wrote up to book 11, and he passed away, unfortunately. And then Brandon Sanderson took over and wrote the last 3, because the original author's wife was the editor and was also the publisher. Was the publisher at Tor Books. So that's how they got the series to conclude and all that.
It is neither Salting Traveling Sea. I'm just cuddling one of my babies here.
Yeah. Have you learned anything new? Have you learned any new songs?
Yes, I have been, which is funny because I'm actually holding this particular guitar. I've been focusing a lot on just practicing up Black Sabbath stuff, and this is a replica of one of the guitars that Tony Iommi played. So that's kind of
that's if I remember that's a Fender Stratocaster, right?
Nope, this is not
Stratocaster?
SG.
Oh, it's an SG.
Nope.
Okay.
I have one, but it's currently in pieces. No, this is an SG. It's made by Gibson or their cheaper brand Epiphone. And
Oh, okay.
so
Yeah, it was a shame that Ozzy passed away. I was listening to when I heard about that, I was listening to a couple of songs. I was listening to Paranoid. I was listening to Laguna. I don't know if you ever heard Laguna Sunrise, it's their instrumental. It's
oh
really
yeah,
good. Laguna
I've
Sunrise is
I've
really
heard
good.
the entirety of their stuff.
I haven't. I've only heard like their greatest. I've only heard like the greatest hits from like the early 70s. So like Iron Man, I am Iron Man. And then you had
Yeah.
Nib, NIB,
Yep.
War Pigs. What was it? What was it? What was the other one? Sabbath, Bloody
That was
Sabbath.
yeah. See, the Sabbath stuff for me, that was like one of the biggest things that I did specifically with Phil on my channel and his channel, where for a time we were picking bands that he was an expert on that I had never really dived into, and Black Sabbath was the first one. And genuinely from doing that, Black Sabbath is like my favorite band now. And I would recommend to anyone that wants to get into them, absolutely get into them, but don't stop with the Aussie stuff. Go through everything, the Dio stuff, the Ian Gillan stuff, the Tony Martin stuff, even the couple albums with Glenn Hughes.
Really, I didn't even know. I didn't even know there were that many vocalists. I mean,
Oh
I
yeah.
I know Dio obviously, but I didn't know there are those other guys that you just mentioned. So interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've only yeah, like I said, I've only heard a handful of I've only heard a handful of Zeppelin. I'm more of a Pink Floyd. I've heard all Pink. Well, I don't even think I've heard all Pink Floyd. Most of Pink Floyd. I have Queen's entire. I've listened to Queen's entire discography. I've listened to the entire Beatles discography. I don't know if I've
I
listened to
gotcha.
like any other. I don't think I've listened to any other entire discographies. And then recently, I've been listening to more. I've been listening to more soundtracks of different older shows I used to watch, anime shows, game soundtracks. I have been listening to a few songs that I've some 80s. There's been some 80s songs I've revisited that I actually really like. I've been listening. I've been one of the earliest things I've liked growing up, maybe because I was born in 1984, and synth pop was a big thing in 1984. You could thank Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack for that, because that was probably the earliest movie I've probably ever seen. That's probably the earliest soundtrack I've ever heard. So ever since then, if I hear like a
Right.
synthesized, track or something, it's probably gonna sync with me pretty well. So
Yeah,
this
I
week,
get that.
yeah, so like this week I was listening to a Charles Bronson movie, an early 80s Charles Bronson movie that I've never seen before, called 10 to Midnight. And
Bam, get down.
it opens with this insane synthesized track, and it was very 1980s, very cheesy. But I've been listening to it like ever since I watched it last week. I've been listening to it all week, like on my way to work. Like I listen to it, it's a 2-minute track, and that's it. So yeah, so yes, yeah, I've been just getting back into synth pop. And then you have you ever hear
Nice.
"You work hard for your money, da 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 da.
I
You
think I
work hard
have.
for your money, da 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 da." Yeah, I've been revisiting a lot of 80s tunes. So
I gotcha. Meanwhile, I have been revisiting
you've
honestly a
never
lot
heard
of
that
more
song? You've never
modern.
heard the Donna Summer "I work hard for your money, and you know
No.
you'll be all right, da 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 da
I'll
da
have
da." You gotta
I mean, it
listen to it.
kind of sounds
It's a
familiar.
classic. It's 1983, dude. It's a synth
Okay.
classic.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
You've heard "Highway to the Danger Zone" at least, haven't you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
Okay,
love
good.
that
Okay,
song.
there's hope for you. There's hope for thee.
But as far as what I've been listening to today is outside of Black Sabbath, obviously, I have gotten really, really deeply into the music of Jelly Roll. And my wife was actually the first one to really turn me on to the music of Jelly Roll. But I started to listen to his songs and like listen to really what he was saying. And I started to hear the more powerful messages behind a lot of his, especially more recent stuff, and it started to really
isn't
resonate
he
with
like the
me.
heavy set guy that has like all the tattoos on his face
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
okay. All right, sorry, keep going. What is he okay, what is he generally he's a rapper, right?
He's a rapper turned country artist.
Country. Okay.
So he kind of has he has a history of being a convicted felon who was really big into drug pushing and such like that. He got caught, got convicted, served time, and turned his life around through music, and is now basically making music that's very much inspirational about, you're more than the crap that you've dealt with in your life. You can turn yourself around, as well as just in general showing like the true side of like addiction, mental health
Yeah.
stuff, and just like really inspirational stuff like that.
Yeah, I've actually been interested in believe it or not, the nature of addiction. I've been listening to stories about people that have been addicted to drugs and that ended up losing their lives because of fentanyl, because of the fentanyl
Mhm.
epidemic that's going out there. Like it's terrifying. Like if anybody's watching, if you're young or you take drugs or something, don't take drugs from strangers. Don't take strange pills from strangers because you don't know if that's going to be laced with fentanyl. And you know what? It just takes one.
Exactly.
It just takes one to kill you. And it's not funny. Like it's a
Mhm.
lot of. I've been listening to stories from parents that have lost their kids. It's the most heartbreaking scene I've ever. It's the most heartbreaking thing I've ever encountered in my life. I've had friends whose parents have passed away, and their grandparents outlived them, and I go. I'm at the funeral, and they're mourning their kids, and it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to see or ever had to witness. So, so
Yeah.
seeing this type of stuff is just like be safe. Be safe out there. Don't do anything like that. If you got to take something, know where it's coming from.
Exactly. But yeah, that sort of stuff has been more what I've been getting into, and also kind of what I've been trying to write anytime I do write songs. Like I have kind of written a few within the last couple within like the last year, I guess, of me moving into this house and being married to my wife and such like that.
Are you
And they've
still
kind of
in
followed that.
Are you still in Virginia in that
Oh yeah,
area?
yeah,
Okay.
still same town and all that. Um,
We met,
but I
by the
don't
way.
work. Oh yes, yes, I remember that day.
Yeah,
Funny
Master
enough,
Paul's
my
like
friend
Master
Ian.
Paul is this tall. He's like this tall.
I'm only 5'11",
Yeah, taller than me.
but yeah, that was an amazing night that we met. Not only did you get to meet me, but you got to meet Michael,
Yeah,
and you got to meet my buddy Ian, the headless guitarist.
yeah, that's true. That's true. He
And then we
literally
took you to a
he
trampoline
literally
park.
does not have a head. He doesn't have a head.
That is true.
So no, yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was fun. It was fun meeting up with you guys, and it was fun going to the what was it? The trampoline. We went to the trampoline place.
Yeah, and then got ice cream afterward because it was the closest fun thing that we could think of. Is like, you know what? Let's just jump around a little bit with you.
Yeah. There was a lot of nothing. There was a lot of nothing over there compared to I'm here in Chicago, and there's like we're all like right next to each other, and there's just so much space. Like it took like 20 minutes to get from where we were to the trampoline place, I think. So. And it
Exactly.
was so dark. There was no lights out, so it was a struggle trying to follow you. Um,
And
what's
you
funny was
stayed
when I
up
was
in the mountains too.
yeah, and what's funny was when I was following you, I was racing, I was going really fast, accelerating, trying to keep up with you, and I was playing the Initial D soundtrack. And if you don't know what Initial D is, it's a car racing anime from the late '90s, and they play a lot of high energy Eurobeat is like their soundtrack. And so I'm listening to high, fast paced music, while trying to keep up with you, dude.
That's the way to do it.
So
But So there is one thing that I've definitely wanted to tell you about that I've kind of gotten into, um, that I wanted to bring to your attention. So I know that you are a big Nintendo fan, and if I remember correctly, you did grow up with Super Mario 64, correct?
Yeah, Super Mario 64.
Okay.
I mean, I consider Super Mario 64 the beginning of my adolescence. N64 era was basically the beginning of my adolescence because I was sixth grade
Okay.
when that came out.
Well, I have a Super Mario 64 fan game that I need to tell you about.
Oh no.
So it's become very popular over the last several years to make ROM hacks, as they're called, of Super Mario 64. And there's a ton of them out there that
Yes.
you can try. Some are just little short games, some are huge, expansive ones. But there's one that is completely set apart from all the other ones. It's called B3313. Now, I'm not going to say the full premise of it because I want you to go in blindly, but it takes the best way that I can put is it is Super Mario 64 in Alice in Wonderland,
Oh, so kind of like Majora's Mask.
but somehow even more trippy.
Then Majora's Mask, no way.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what's it called? B3332?
B3313.
B3313.
Yes.
B3313. Okay.
Mhm.
Super Mario 64 ROM hack. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
My brother initially got me into it, and I kid you not, I put probably a good 6 months of time into playing that game. It's that extensive.
6 months.
Mhm. I'll put it to you this way. Base Super Mario 64 has 120 stars.
Yeah.
B33, depending on the version, because there's two versions. There's Unabandoned and there's 1.0.2. 1.0.2 has 463 stars. Unabandoned has 488.
Unabandoned. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Okay, wrote that down. And you play as Mario or do you play as another character?
You can play
Pain
as either Mario or Luigi.
really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay. Do they all right. Okay. I won't ask anything further. I'll have to look into this. Um
Yeah. And one other thing though, I will definitely say, this is definitely something that if you can, I would recommend streaming.
Streaming. Okay. It's been a while since I've game streamed anything, but okay. All right, I'll have to look. I'll look into this. I don't know if I have. I'll have to look and see if I can get a Mario 64 ROM, and then I can link it to this B3313. So okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna ask. Speaking of Nintendo stuff, have you gotten into the Switch 2 yet?
No, I'm still holding out, still getting as much as I can out of my normal Switch OLED. Um, I was not really all that impressed with some of the things that I heard about the Switch 2, as far as like some of Nintendo's practices with it, and the fact that games are like now $80 a pop.
Yeah,
Like,
and some games will not be on the cartridge. Like like there'll be like a code on the cartridge so to download, so the game won't even be on some of the cartridges.
exactly. Like the Switch 2 itself, the hardware on it, I'm impressed with and I would love to experience, but for whatever reason, a lot of the tactics that Nintendo have chosen with this console, I just don't understand. Like the whole thing of allegedly you can't I heard a story of someone apparently buying a used Switch 1 game and trying to play it, and Nintendo picked it up as if they were playing unauthorized material and bricked their console.
I've heard about the fact that they can brick the console. I didn't hear about that though. I don't think that's crazy.
Yeah. Like, to me, bricking the console because you're hacking it and modding it, I mean, yeah, it's anti-consumer, but that's one thing. Doing it because you bought a used but legitimate game, that's
That's a problem.
stupid.
Yeah, that's man. I don't know. That's very interesting. I'll have to look further into it, but I don't know. I haven't been as I haven't been as keen on Nintendo lately. I mean, I still follow some of it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but there's one game that I've been looking for. I've been looking for updates every day, and that's Metroid Prime 4. I don't know if you've seen the trailer, but I'm actually really excited for that one. And they're playing a game. They're playing it in Germany right now at Gamescom convention. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they still haven't announced a release date because it's supposed to be 2025. And if there's any game that's going to have me buy the Switch 2, it's that game. Between that
I
game
could see that.
and the new Donkey Kong Bonanza. The Donkey Kong Bonanza is
Right.
basically, I didn't think they would do it, but it's basically Mario Odyssey. It's basically Mario Odyssey, but Donkey Kong basically. Yeah.
Okay.
What's up, Ernest Ferratu the vampire? How you doing? Okay, sorry. I just had to bugging me to say hello. So no, I'm not pouring. I'm not drinking tonight. So, so what else has been what else has been going on? What have you been watching anything? Have you watched
Um,
any new Trek? How far have you gone in Deep Space Nine?
Honestly, I haven't really watched any Trek at all, save for rewatching Corbomite Maneuver with Mike. If anything, I've been going in a very different direction with what I've been watching, getting into some of the things that my wife has been into. Like, we have for a while, we were watching the show Outlander, which was like based on 1700s Scotland and such.
Yeah.
She's only just recently started showing me Supernatural, which I did not expect to like as much as I have so far, even though I'm only 3 episodes in.
Oh, you got a crush on the boys?
It's not even that. It's just I'm not normally a horror type person. Like, go ask Crit. I was freaking out really bad when he showed me the first Alien movie for the first time. But for whatever reason, Supernatural, yeah, it's creepy, but it's creepy in a funny, not necessarily funny way, but fun, thrilling way.
You didn't like Alien? What kind of person doesn't like Alien? Like that's one of the greatest movies ever. It's one of the scariest movies ever too. Like
I know.
just a
I need
creature running around your ventilation. It can just pop up anytime. You know that's terrifying. It's
yeah,
basically yeah. I
need
mean,
to give
but if you don't like haunted, if you don't like slasher and space type of deal, then it's not gonna be your cup of tea. But what I liked about that movie wasn't just a slasher movie; it was a disaster movie because
Mhm.
like that they do the self destruct thing. I mean, where do you think Metroid got all of its ideas from Alien and Aliens, basically?
Exactly.
So like they don't know. I mean, what would you do if you were alone? If you were Sigourney Weaver and you were alone on a big, massive mining ship with an alien that will attack you from anywhere, you'd want to blow the freaking ship up and get the hell out of there.
Exactly. Now that said, I did like Aliens. That movie was
That's
amazing.
that's more action thriller, and the whole I mean Metroid too, the destruction of all the Metroids, wiping them all out on their
Mhm.
planet. That's basically what Aliens did with the aliens. Until the
Right.
next movie, they keep bringing aliens back and Metroids back, and Metroid Dread did not bring back any Metroids. Funny, the Metroids stayed
Hmm.
gone. Have you played Dread on the
Okay.
Switch? Metroid Dread on the Switch? Metroid 5, the long
I
awaited one.
genuinely have not played. I've only played just a little bit of the first Metroid Prime. That is my only Metroid experience.
Metroid Prime. Oh yeah. Did you play remastered? The game looks so good.
Yes.
That's so. I haven't finished it yet. I know. I have to finish it. I mean, I beat Prime a long time ago, but I haven't finished Remastered yet. But that game looks practically brand new. And then we have another nerd here. There's only room in Chillporeal for one nerd. But yeah, what's up, buddy? How you doing? I had Nerd Takes on a couple weeks ago. He's from Boston,
Oh,
so
nice.
I got to hear all of his AR sounds were basically. So it was fun. It was fun. It was fun teasing his accent. So, but then I'm Chicago
Awesome.
accent, so everybody makes fun of me too. So it's Supernatural, huh? So what episode? Do you remember what episode you kind of left off on Deep Space Nine? I know you finished TNG, right?
Nine.
You
Yes,
finished
TNG,
right? Did you get to?
And I watched Generations and First Contact.
Okay, did you get to the Jem'Hadar episode, the end of season 2?
No,
you did not. Did you get to? Okay, but you got to season 2, right? Of DS9. So you did. So you watched the initial 3-parter with the Bajoran war hero, and then the whole then there was like a coup and everything, and then they take over Deep Space Nine and all that. Okay, so you got that far at least.
I think that's the last thing I remember watching.
Yeah, well, it gets crazy once the Dominion gets into the show, which is basically the end of the finale of season 2. Once you introduce the Jem'Hadar, it takes a whole new direction, and then season 4 happens, and that even goes in a completely then it goes even more of a different direction than the early seasons. So,
gotcha.
But it ends up being one of the best written shows ever. And what I showed in the intro is probably one of the greatest Starfleet battles ever. Like, just imagine all the alliances you have to make to take on an even bigger threat than you've ever encountered before.
I believe it.
And why is that? Why is this threat so big? Because they're from a different part of the galaxy that they just discovered that wormhole. So, yeah.
Now, real quick, since you brought it up, answer me this one. What's going on with the idea of the female Jem'Hadar, and why is that pissing everyone off?
Because there's no female Jem'Hadar. The Jem'Hadar are all bred for war. They are not born. They're not born naturally. They are all genetically bred by the founders of the Dominion.
Okay.
They are bred for conflict. The Vorta, another race that deals with all the administrative duties of the Dominion, are also bred and cloned. So everything about the Dominion is artificial, except for the founders themselves. But the founders themselves, it's your classic case of, they're a different type of race than any others, and they were bullied by the peoples they call solids, because the founders are liquid.
Right.
And they have a major bone to pick with everybody with all the solids in the galaxy, hence why they built their empire and everything.
Okay.
So there's a lot of bad blood. A lot of bad blood.
Okay.
And these shapeshifters live for like thousands of years, probably longer. So
right. And I kind of guessed
that's
Odo,
and that's basically Odo
comes from.
Yes. Yeah, Odo was one of many that were sent out to, see what kind of peoples were that lived beyond the Gamma Quadrant, and Odo was the first one to come back because of the Bajoran wormhole. So, but their stories get so good. Garrick just gets so much better. Going forward, Rom and Quark's episodes are fantastic. I even like Rom and Nog and Ferengi episodes. I liked I like all the characters, and when you get to the end of that show and you have to say goodbye, it's one of those shows you wish didn't come to an end, because you just get so attached. It's so well written, you get so attached to these characters. It's when a show can do that to me, that's one of the greatest. That's one of the that just tells me just how great it is. If I feel like
gotcha.
I have to say goodbye and I'm going to miss these characters, because a lot of times I'll just a show will end, I'll be like, yeah, it was good while it lasted. But if I feel bad and if I long for, if I don't feel like, if I'm getting close to the end, I don't want it to end. That to me, that's a really good thing. I mean, some shows do that because I know certain characters are going to die at the end, like Cowboy Bebop. Maybe that show does that to me
Hmm.
too. But yeah, Voyager didn't. I mean, I like Voyager. I used to watch Voyager growing up. That has a lot of nostalgia for me. But even rewatching it and getting to the ending, I didn't feel the same.
I understand that.
So, but Deep Space Nine, you won't regret it if you continue it.
Yeah, I would certainly love to. And that notion of feeling like you get so attached to these characters that you feel like you're going to miss them and you're going to say goodbye. That's genuinely how I felt at the end of both TOS and TNG. And when I say TNG, when I say TOS, I mean I'm counting Star Trek Continues into that too.
You absolutely have to. You absolutely have to count Star Trek Continues, because I mean
Exactly.
the way
Which
the way Vic Mignogna and a few of those other guys wrote those episodes, it was almost. I mean, it was almost DS9 level quality in my opinion. Like, yeah, you
exactly.
felt like you didn't want that to end. Like, the final speech, on the refitted Enterprise and in the refitted Enterprise audience deck or something like that. Um,
Mhm.
and just the final battle, going back. I always love when shows revisit the beginning. The end of the show revisits the beginning, and I loved what they did with that. I loved the fact that they revisited the silver-eyed ESP people, but this time there was
Yes.
not just one, or there was not just two people. There was a whole crew of them, and they were on board a
Mhm.
starship, and it became almost like a crazy Wrath of Khan type of battle, except
Exactly.
these are super duper people with silver eyes that grow stronger by the minute. So what can they do? Well, they can do a hell of a good shield against the
Mhm.
Enterprise and the Romulan ship. So
And again, the fact that they brought back the daughter of the original female Romulan commander to play her mother's
that's right.
role was
That's
just a
right.
perfect touch.
It was. I agree. I totally agree on that. So we're getting close to an hour. So, um,
Yeah.
you have anything you want? Any final things you want to bring up before we end it?
Um, well, just in general, wondering what sort of things would you recommend me check out given the things that I've already talked to you about that I've been into recently, like Supernatural and such?
Um, oh, so you've been watching Supernatural. Um,
Mm-hmm.
have you what have I watched? Have I watched anything lately? Um, I already brought up the last show I've ever watched was Andor. Oh yeah, this is a good one. Here, this is a good one. What's up, Steve? There's a series called Banshee, and it's on HBO Max. Uh,
Okay.
if you want to watch if you want to watch a show that truly feels like a comic book show, and of course it's very violent, and there's a good amount of sex in it. Um, it's a very fun show to watch. Like, and bad guys are bad, and there's points where you're like, no, not her, and you'll know what I mean if you ever decide to watch it. But the stakes get very high, and it, like you come to really like the characters. The characters are really cool. Like, the main character is not, some guy without agency, which is how all the Marvel shows like to depict their male characters now. So there's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's a great example of a good show and everything. So I haven't even watched the new Alien show yet, by the way. That's just
I've heard
how
somewhat good things about
uninterested
that.
I am in a lot of shows right now. because of just the way Hollywood's been acting and just what they choose to prioritize in their development, in their writing and development. So
Yeah, I gotcha.
I have been watching a whole bunch of movies the last couple weeks. I would definitely recommend watching Charlie Chaplin. A bunch of his movies are on HBO Max. I've been actually watch Modern Times is a good one. That's the one. That's the famous one where Charlie Chaplin falls into the conveyor machine and he's wrenching things on the gears. He's like sliding along the gears, going up and down like that. So, that's a good one. And of course the Great Dictator. If you ever seen the Great Dictator.
Gotcha.
Have you seen the Great Dictator? Have you heard of it? That's more Charlie Chaplin. It's a satire of the Third Reich, of Hitler and Goebbels and Mussolini. Chaplin plays the Fuhrer, or in that movie's lore, the Fooey, not the Fuhrer, the Fooey, and he plays his typical tramp character, but in that case he's a barber, but he's also happens to be Jewish. And the movie's supposed to be a comedy, but the movie's actually pretty brutal, because the movie was basically him trying to warn, Western audiences that the Third Reich is no joke, and that they're very, very brutal in how they treat their own citizens. And so that came out. That was made when the Jews were in the ghettos, and this was before they knew about the nature of the Holocaust and before they knew about the death camps. So once Chaplin found out about that, Chaplin's like, I don't think I could have made the movie.
I gotcha.
Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they did not know.
Yeah, definitely.
They did not know about the death camps. And that's just wild. I mean, reading up on his biography. So yeah, Charlie Chaplin, he writes and directs all of his own movies. Definitely check him out. Even his silent stuff, like, there's more expression in his physical acting than you get from modern day entertainment. Sitting at tables,
I believe it,
and expressing one emotion and talking and talking about uninteresting things. So that's just me. So
I gotcha. Yeah, as far as movies go, something that me and my wife have been doing recently is she has been kind of walking me through some of the more recent of the Disney animated movies that she likes. So things like Elemental, Moana, Zootopia, things like that. She had been showing me those for like the past year and a half or so. And it's been really fun to see those movies, number one, but also to experience something that she likes and hear why she likes it, and just, I guess, kind of see things from her perspective too.
Okay. I haven't seen any of the newer Disney stuff. I mean, I've seen up to Finding Dory.
Okay. I saw Finding Dory in theaters when it came out.
Yeah, because I really liked Finding Nemo. I didn't see Finding Nemo in theaters. I do remember seeing Toy Story. Toy Story is probably the one Disney movie I own. But I like all the older stuff. I liked Lion King and Aladdin, and I still think of Return of Jafar every now and then. You ever see Return of Jafar? That was
Kingdom Hearts counts.
No. Return of Jafar was a direct sequel to Aladdin, where they actually killed Jafar at the end. So Jafar was Jafar. So they turned Jafar into a genie, and at the end of Aladdin, then in Return of Jafar, he wreaks havoc when he's released from the lamp, basically. I forget what was his name. I can't remember the character's name. Jason Alexander plays him. Not Iago. Iago became his enemy. The thief dude, the fat thief dude, who was in that movie. He was in the show. Jason Alexander voices him. But yeah, so
not a clue.
He starts wreaking havoc, because he was released. But then they're like, "Hey, wait a minute, you're a genie. You're chained to this lamp, So Yeah. But yeah, I like older Disney. I haven't watched a whole lot of newer stuff. I mean, so like I haven't seen Moana or Elemental or is Tangled also Disney? Tangled,
No,
Frozen.
Tangled is Disney, but that's not as recent. Like I used to consider Frozen to be like my cutoff of okay, I will not watch anything newer than Frozen, but that started to not be a thing for me anymore, and I've started to enjoy some of the more recent stuff. Like Inside Out 2, for example, that was amazing. And again,
Inside
very
Out. Okay, is that the one? What is that? No, okay, no, I'm not thinking. I don't know what that one
that's
is.
the one with all the emotions inside the girl's head.
And they're different colors,
Yes.
the emotions. Okay,
Mhm.
maybe I do know what you're talking about. Okay, all right. I think I've been recommended that by someone else too. So okay, yeah, all right. I'll keep that in
Yeah,
mind.
both of those are really good, especially the second one.
Okay, all right. Um, yeah, been kind of other than I've been steering clear of Disney mostly. So there's something good that interests me. I'll definitely check it out. But yeah, I think in terms of like, I think if I'm gonna get back into Disney, I'm probably gonna watch some of the get into some of the older stuff again and watch it. Like either some of the classic, classic shorts, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, or revisit DuckTales. There's always
Understandable.
DuckTales has always been, all the shows from the late '80s. They all focused heavily on the pop culture of the time. So there were like shows based on Star Wars, or shows based on Star Trek and Indiana Jones and
Mhm.
whatever else was big, whatever else was big at the time. So, um, yeah, newer stuff just hasn't really impressed me. And plus, I haven't really been looking for newer stuff. I mean, newer stuff to me is looking backwards instead of looking forwards. Because I
Yeah.
don't once again I don't have faith in current Hollywood creatives to make something and do especially something that already has existed to do it justice, because everything they've made, that it was either a sequel or reboot, has been mediocre and has not lived up to what came before. And it's just at this point I just really don't care. And that's just how it is. That's just how it is for me.
Right. And I completely get it. That I mean, there's certain things that I'm like that with too. The biggest one right now for that is Star Wars and Marvel. Like
You definitely got to watch Andor season 2. You'll you'll
I
you'll
gotcha.
actually you'll like it if you just set aside, watch it in isolation, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay.
It gets brutal. That series gets brutal. People are getting picked off one by one by one by one. You're like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. So there's impact. Like, and the one thing I liked about the first season was that when there was an action sequence,
Mhm.
the action sequence had weight because a person could die.
Right.
You didn't know who was going to die next. So the stakes, once again, the stakes were pretty high. You didn't know, and there was more impact than, let's just say, like Rise of Skywalker, where they're just running around shooting stormtroopers left and right, and of course the good guys are never going to get hurt and all that. So
Right.
that's how and I think even the original trilogy kind of suffered from that. Even the first Star Wars kind of suffered from that, especially all the Death Star stuff. But the Death Star
A little
stuff was
bit.
funny. The Death Star stuff was funny though. And the thing is,
Yeah.
the beginning of the movie establishes that the stormtroopers can't kill. They
Mhm.
took over the Tantive 4. So
Yeah. I
and
genuinely wish that the whole meme of, "Oh, the stormtroopers have terrible brain." No, they don't. That's stupid. And the fact that that became a meme and became what the stormtroopers were known for, that genuinely just upsets me these days.
yeah, that was
The
just
stormtroopers are like the special forces of the empire. They're not the general foot soldiers. They're like the top guys that you send to get the job done.
yeah. You said, I mean, yeah, they were the first ones in. Vader was
Mhm.
behind them basically. So you don't send the
Exactly.
first. They're that's like the Marines, and the Marines are the first ones to go in and take care of business. So All right. Well,
Exactly.
we're okay, but we're approaching we're approaching an hour. You got to go. So, any final thoughts? Anything you want to promote?
Well, I have no clue what or when I'm going to do anything with it, but for those that don't know, I do have my own channel, Fandomology. So if you're not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. I do. The last thing that I did on there was I did my own little introductory stream of B3313. I'm going to be doing another one sometime, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Cool, man. Thanks for once again. Thanks for doing this. Just having you for an hour was a blast, man. For me, I mean, I'm doing a Chillporeal next week with Salty and hopefully Wakizashi's Tea House. Me and him have been continuing to do Star Trek streams. So I've been actually learning more about the original series, especially the behind the scenes stuff, than I've ever done before.
Oh
And
wow.
it gets pretty crazy at points and pretty funny. So the last one we did was the Squire of Gothos. And there was a point in that episode where Trelane, or William Campbell, who plays Trelane, falls on the ground because he wanted to do his own stunt. He ended up dislocating his shoulder and everything.
Ooh.
And Shatner was pissed off because Shatner is, he prepares his lines ahead of time, and he's just like, come on, dude, just let's do it. Don't worry, nobody's gonna care. He's like, no, of course people are gonna care and everything. So yeah, so even back then Shatner was a bit of an ass. So, but yeah, it's fun. I have this book by Cushman. It's called These Are the Voyages, and every time I do a stream with Gray, and we talk about a particular episode, I take it upon myself to read up on the history because it's new, it's brand new to me. Like I'm learning stuff for the first time myself and everything
I gotcha.
about behind the scenes of Star Trek, and it gets wild. Like Harlan Ellison for Sitting on the Edge of Forever, that guy procrastinated like hell. And they're like, bro, you got to finish writing the freaking episode. You shouldn't be out here talking to people. You got to be in your office writing the freaking episode, writing the effing episode. So yeah. And then there's a
Wow.
point where like he calls Roddenberry a hack because Roddenberry rewrote his episode because they couldn't
Hmm.
afford to put everything that he had into it. So yeah, it gets pretty crazy. But yeah, that's what I've
I
been
believe
doing, and
it.
I've been reading Wheel of Time, doing Wheel of Time streams, and that's pretty much it. So, but yeah,
I gotcha.
that's in a nutshell. So Paul, thanks for doing this. It's been good catching up with you. Hopefully you get back.
Absolutely.
Hopefully you get back into watching some Deep Space Nines. Might be the best. It's probably one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. Probably
Okay.
definitely the best. TOS is my favorite, but if I had to objectively say what the best run Star Trek show is, it's Deep Space Nine.
I gotcha. And
So
hey, also tell Mr. Gray that I would love to talk Japan with him at some point. Haven't been there
oh yeah,
myself.
I didn't tell you. I went to Japan. I met him.
Really? How'd that go?
That was great. It was a blast. I met him. I met the Ginger Ninja, and I met Angry Canadian. Angry Canadian was
Awesome.
mainly my host, but I got to hang out with all three of them, especially on the day I arrived. Went to Osaka, and it was fun.
Sweet.
I'll share I'll share a few pictures with you. I'll share a few pictures with you afterwards and all that. So, but yeah,
Okay.
it was a lot of fun. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you get to talk to Wakizashi Sea House, you're in for a treat. So,
I'd
all
love
right.
to.
All right, so I don't really have an outro, so I'm going to use an outro. If you're, we did touch on Nintendo, so this is a very
Mm-hmm.
funny Nintendo. I'm sure it's been a meme for years now, but yeah, everybody, thanks for watching. Check out Master Paul's channel, Fandomology, and definitely check out the last couple Chillporeals. The one I did last week with Jay Bongo talking about video game design was a great conversation, and then with Nerd Takes the week before, just talking about pop culture. Definitely check those out. They're a lot of fun. That's why I love doing these streams. And everybody, well, we'll talk to you later.
Absolutely.